Hey there everyone, Laurel here. Thank you so much for joining me today on my YouTube channel. Today I am going to show you how I created this wave card here. And I'm using a new stamp set from the Ton Stamps latest release. It is a layering stamp set called Wave, and it is so cool. Check it out. I adore, my mouth dropped when I saw this, to be honest with you. It is so cool, and it's actually a very easy layering stamp to use. Now I'm using my MISTI here, and all you do is you line up each of the stamps on the bottom. You just line the bottom of the stamp up with the bottom of your cardstock. It's very simple to use. The first layer, I'm going to go ahead and ink this up with Peacock Feathers Distress Inks. For this technique, I think using distress inks will work the best. I inked it up with that Peacock Feathers. I spritzed it with a little bit of water, and then I'm stamping it down, and you see that first layer of the waves. It's so neat. Now I'm using the second layer. Again, I'm just lining up the bottom of the stamp. Very easy. I'm going to ink that up with Mermaid Lagoon. Again, I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of water here, and then I'll go ahead and press that down. And then you get the second layer of the wave. You can use this with all three layers, one layer, two layers, whatever you want to do. I'm going to do the third layer here, again lining it up right on the bottom. And you don't need to use the MISTI stamping tool. If you don't have one, you can use a regular acrylic block. This time I'm inking it up with Faded Jeans, which is the darkest color. Spritzed it with water and pressed down. Now here's a look at the three cards with the traditional layering here. So you take your stamp, you stamp all three layers, and you are left with this beautiful detailed wave for your card. It's gorgeous. What I did for those cards is I took that third layer and I actually used gesso. So I took some gesso on a paintbrush, I painted that third layered stamp, and then I stamped it with the gesso and let it dry. And doing that, I actually got that white look there. It's raised, it adds some dimension, and it makes the wave look really real. So that's another option for you instead of using ink for that third layer. Now I'm going to take my card a step further, and I'm going to add a layer of foil with that third panel there. This is some Deco Foil transfer gel. And I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm just going to add it directly to my stamp. Now this is the exact process I did with the gesso for the other card, by the way. You just added the gesso, stamped it down, let it dry, and you're good to go. This is a transfer gel for foiling, so I went ahead and applied that directly to my stamp. I'm going to press down. I'm not giving a lot of pressure because I'm not looking for an even layer of foil, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. This does not damage your stamp in any way, but just make sure you go and immediately clean off your stamp and your paintbrush by running it under some water. Then I'm going to take it, once that transfer gel is good and dry, took about an hour, I'm running it through my laminator machine here, and that's a piece of parchment paper. Foil side up, that's a piece of Deco Foil there. And I went ahead and sandwiched it in between some parchment paper, ran it through my laminator, and then I've got a little foil action down there on the bottom. It's really hard to capture the shine on video, but it's there, and that just is going to add a whole, a little darker, little touch of shine, a little bit of darker, adding a little bit of dimension. It's really neat. Now here's where the water comes in, and I am transferring this beautiful wave stamp set, and I'm kind of creating it like it's captured in a storm. As a matter of fact, I sent Effie a picture and said, I call this wave caught in a storm. So I'm just taking some water and I'm spraying the crud out of this card panel, and it's making all of the ink react to that water. That's why I suggest using distress inks for this. I am pouncing it into the puddles of water left behind. I am making a big fat mess, and that's okay because that's what makes this so cool. Now if you find that you add too much water, or some of the design from the original wave has, you know, kind of blended out because you added so much water, you can easily mount that stamp right back over to your card panel and restamp the wave in distress inks or whatever inks you were using. So you can go back and add the inked image again if you wanted to, if you find that you try this technique and you lost your wave, because that happened to me on another card sample that I did. So then I decided I wanted to add more some of that blue, so I smushed it onto my craft mat, added a little bit of water, and I'm picking it up with a paintbrush, and I'm just creating a whole mess. But when it dries, it's really quite pretty, and it changes the look of that stamp dramatically, and I just found this very peaceful, very calming. I just loved the way it looked. And once it was dry, I simply stamped a sentiment on there, and I love it. But again, if you do lose the original image, you can restamp the wave right over your watercolor background and either start over or leave it as is. It's really quite fun to play along with this technique, so I hope that you'll give it a try. But this wave set is really, really cool. But I love kind of taking that wave step and just stretching it a little bit further and creating this beautiful watercolored scene. It's just so pretty, I think. Anyway, maybe you don't. I didn't know. But anyway, so that's my video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.